Morning, everyone. How you doing? I hope your week was a good one. And we will get started in a second. If you're out there, say hi. Would love to hear from you. If you're replay watching, I would love to know that as well. And we're just giving my computer a second to get caught up so I can make sure that I'm halfway straight. I guess I like stuffed kitty wampus. There we go. All right, let's move that up just a little. All righty. All right, here we go. As always, thank you ever so much for shopping with me. You can through the end of April, and if you're a VIP, just so you know, you will earn VIP credit all of this month, or all of next month, April, and then you have all of May to spend it. So just a little heads up. Also a little heads up, our special next month for April is going to be our Journey color of the year. Hold on a second, I will get a piece of artwork with it. This is the Journey color of the year. So remember, our cardstock is full strength on the front, 30% lighter on the back. And then here is a card that I made with a stencil. This is using the, oh boy, Journey. Wow. Journey cardstock, Journey ink, Journey glitter paper, and Journey sequins. Okay, so look for that next month. And I think it's going to be a special, you know, on sale. All right, what are we using today? Today we are using the stamp set for April's Stamp of the Month. If you like this one, I would order on the 1st with a qualifying order, Z7148. So you can buy this separately by itself, the stamp set. If you're a VIP or a customer, once you hit $50, you can get it either for $5, try and say that 3 times, for a customer, or free for a VIP. If you want the thin cuts, order 50, and you can order it with the thin cuts, stamp and thin cuts as a customer. Free stamp, and you just pay for the thin cuts if you're a VIP. That probably didn't make any sense. If you have any questions, get back to me. Okay, I'm also showing the embossing little baby folder. I call them baby folder. And this is a striped one, 7Z17. Oh my gosh, let me start again. This is the striped embossing folder. The item number is Z7130. Those are supposed to be back in stock soon, as is with the Bitty Flower stencil and embossing folder. You can buy them separately or together in a pack like I did. And the Bitty Flower, let's see. If you want the bundle, it's Z7154. If you want the embossing folder that I'm using, it's Z7132. And the Bitty Flower stencil is Z7152. Okay. All right. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, here, I'll show you. Since I have this stencil, I will try to show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. This might help. There we go. How about that? Can you see that? Hopefully. If not, ask me and I'll take a screenshot. Okay, let's get all this out of the way. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is we are doing a card in a couple of different ways, okay? So the first thing that I did was I took those little embossing folders, and I forgot to save me a piece, but I cut them out, or I embossed them just on white paper, and then I colored them. okay? Just with ink and a blender. Here, I can show you that. This one's gonna be a different color. Ink it up and just color it, okay? I didn't pay too much attention if it was solid or if it had a little bit of lights and darks, which I kind of like. Adds more texture to it. And there is what that looks like. Let's move over. Okay, let's find the camera. Can she find the camera? There we go. Okay, all right. So the next thing I want to show you, oh, here they are. I did have pieces. Oh my goodness. I'm a hot mess today, guys. So here's what I did. Now I do know that it's not quite long enough because I needed 4 1/4. So I just put it in one way, sandwiched it, rolled it, took it out, put it in the other way, sandwiched up to there. And what I should have done is like I did on this one, you can't quite tell as good, is when I did the first pass, and then when I put it into the second pass, I made sure that my plates were right at that line where I needed to be. That way it didn't interfere with this half that I'd already done, and that looks a little better. And by the time you cut them down to 3/4 of an inch, you don't really see much of it anyway. And you know what? It was okay with me. All right. So that's how I did that. And then I wanted to show you what I did for the flowers. So I used the flower, and what I did was I pre-sponged on white cardstock, and then I stamped my image. So it was already kind of like pre-colored. And then because I wanted the middle to be a little bit different, a little bit of brown in there, kind of like a Black-Eyed Susie, I just took another little one and added, always tap off or tap off on your paper so you don't get it too dark, because you don't want to get it like that. And I just added a little bit of dark to that center to make my Black-Eyed Susie. Okay? And then I punched it out of with the thin cut. So just went and punched that out after I was done. Okay? So that's how I did that. The leaves, I did the same way. And here's a little tip for you. Washi tape. If you use it straight away, it's going to rip your paper. So put it on your skin, put it on your clothing, and it will loosen how strong the washi tape is. See how it's ripping my paper? Because I didn't do that. So, note to self, unstickify washi tape, or use like the blue tape, which is a lot softer of a hold and it won't rip your paper. So I inked it up. I inked it with the foam brush. I did this. Oh my gosh, my words are so hard today. And then I stamped it in black ink and then cut it out. Okay? Okay. Okay. And then I did one more thing before I show you the card. I'm just going to use this as I'm going to use this as a sample. So this is the piece that I need, right? And I've already colored it, pretend. Then I took my marker, a black marker. You could do this on an ink pad. So you could just run it on an ink pad like this. But I like to just go very slow, a couple times. And I went all the way around the edges. And hopefully you can, I don't know if you can see that. But just gives it ever so slightly a little bit of a black border line. Okay? You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Go very slow though, so you don't skip up and get onto the surface that you want. If you're worried about it, you could possibly, let's see if we can do it from the back side. This is where I'm telling you to experiment. If we did it on the back side, would we see it on the front? No. So you have to do it on the front and just go slow. So now we know that doesn't work. All right, then I stamped some words and made a center, and this is the card that I made. So it's just sitting on a base of sage. Remember I told you I sponged with a honey butter, and I sponged with Glacier. So these are honey butter, sage, and Glacier. And then the black ink, of course. And you can see a little bit better the black, I hope. I'll take a still shot and then you'll probably be able to see it even more. Oh, and on that flower, I put, hopefully you can see it. Let me get my screen a little bigger. Let's see, how do I get my, there we go. I don't know if you can see the shimmer, but I put clear shimmer around these petals, a tiny bit in the middle. Let me turn off my volume over there. And then I just went down the vein line. So again, I'll take a still shot. So that's card number 1. Now, how can we do that a little differently for card number 2? Well, this time I made my own template, basically, out of this little guy, okay? So that fits that little guy. And I want to show you a couple things before I do that. I used a different paper. I used our Resist paper, and I don't think that you'll be able to see, but it's very shiny on some parts of it. And as soon as I do this, you'll be able to see it. So, a piece of scratch paper. Again, we're using sage green. And sage is a strong color, so you just start kind of off the page until you see what the color is. And then you can go a little darker, and you can see that just showing up there so prettily. I don't think that's a word, but we'll use it. See how pretty that is? And you just add as much as you want. Again, I don't care that it's not coated evenly. I kind of like that. Now you've got that shiny Resist, what resists the ink, so you need to wipe it off so that way that shiny Resist, you take off the little bit of ink that's there and you're left with the white, my hands are really dry, with the white where the shiny is. And so it basically, it colored in the cardstock that's underneath, that's behind in the background that's white. And it left the shiny bits, white. It colored in the white with sage. It's a tough one today, I tell you. I need a break. Okay, so I did that. And then I took a striped piece and I did some blue. So again, remember I'm using honey butter, sage, and Glacier. Those are my colors. And I also went around this one, again, show you up here, with the black. Just go super slow, a little bit of an angle, and you don't see it until you put it down. But go slow. You can even hold it like this. Go slow so you don't hit the surface. And be careful when you're touching it that you give that a second or two to dry. You don't want to smudge it onto your top side, right? All right, there we go. Oh, see there, and now you can see it's, hopefully you can see that little bit more black when I put it down on the paper there. See that black edge? Okay, so that's how we did that. And then how we did this, let's pretend that this middle piece, I stamped this guy, okay? And then I am going to sit down so I can see what I'm doing. I took my template and lined it up, okay? And where's my grainer? Right here. And this would probably be better with a smaller, if you had a, what do you call it? If you had a sponge dauber would work good. I kind of like these ones. I got these from Costco. I got these from Amazon. And this just helps you to get into here a little bit better without going over, my first one I went over his nose a little bit because, you know, those other blending brushes are pretty big. So I'm not going to care that I am going outside of the lines In fact, I kind of want that look. So I'm going to make sure that I kind of go outside of these lines. In other words, I'm taking full advantage of the stencil. Okay, that's how we do that one. And then we're going to put the honey butter in the middle of the flower. Again, either tape down your stencil or just hold it. I'm going to get a little bit, and I kind of went in the center and then out a little bit. Again, I don't care where it's going too much. It's a pretty soft color. Then I'm going to go back with our espresso to get the center of that flower. I'm just going to hit the edges of this. Oh, I don't like that. I wanted to get it, you know, a little bit out. I still think tapping it off is better. Might have to do it a couple of times, but it's better than getting too dark of a look, which is what I got on that one part. So I'm going to try and blend it out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Kind of got a little darker than I wanted, but that's okay. Oh, and then for our little guy, I'm also going to use espresso, and I'm going to take off quite a bit. So that way I can, and let's make sure our stencil is good and on there where we want it. And I'm just going to lightly give him some color on his tummy and his arms and his ear. Just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of go more full strength and kind of blend it out as I go. I want some different color variation. Tap off when you've got enough dark. So you get a second generation. And I don't care that goes over my flower a little bit. Need to add a little bit more dark. And you can just stencil it. Doo-doo-doo. And then I'm going to switch to the tinier one. To get just a little bit in there and just a little bit on there. Okay. And it looks kind of funky until you take the stencil away. I don't know why, it just always does. See, he looks a little better now. He's coming along, isn't he? All right, so then what I did is I took this little piece and I decided, this one I didn't, and let me step back a minute. This card was originally made with these strips and then little strips around here, but I simplified that by just putting the one on the base, the sage color on the base. So this one I decided, let's do a little bit of the black. So I'm going to put this last piece down, and it doesn't matter if you go this way or this way with your short pieces, or you change it up. I didn't change it up. I meant to change it up. If it was this way, it would have been changed up, but I'm not going to put it on upside down. So it doesn't matter which way you start, is what I'm desperately trying to say. Oh, a little crooked. That's why I never put it down super hard until I look at it. Okay, that's a little better. So now this is how I colored that, like I told you before, but instead of using the whole thing, I wanted to get some words on. So I just kind of put him on a little bit off center, right? Just use part of them. Okay, let's put this down. And you could put him again in there, but since he's a little off-centered, I thought, let's just continue with that, okay? Now, I don't know if you noticed, and I don't know if it showed up, but this one, I put a little bit of the white jelly rollers that we used to have, and you probably all still have. And all I did, I always like to kind of start it on my finger to make sure it's going. And then I just kind of went around the tips. Now be careful not to hit the black, because if you hit the black, you're going to cover over it. That's what these are for. They're Well, one of the ways we use them is correctors. So if you go outside the line, you can kind of fix it. So if you get something really green, then you can kind of fix it. But I will tell you that you want to put it down and let it dry. You can't, and I'm using the number 10. There's 3 different sizes. I'm using the biggest one so I get the most coverage that I need. If you made a little boo-boo, you might want one of the smaller ones. And because you can't really go over it a second time, it doesn't layer very easily. Let's put it that way. Okay? And then, since we used a little glitter, why not, right? And what I'm going to do with this, I think I'm just going to kind of glitter around that brown to kind of give it a little bit of a oomph. And then I'm just going to kind of dot in the center. I'm not going to fill it in all the way. I think I'll do that over here too. Kind of do some dots just around. And I might even pull it down just a little bit. Just where those dark lines are, that would be a darker color if you were coloring it with like your markers. That's where you would color a little darker. Okay. And then you can always just kind of wipe that off on your wet towel or a piece of paper. And here's a look at all that. Hopefully get it to where you can see some of that sparkle. And again, I'll take a still picture so you can see it a little better. Now there's no reason why I couldn't, here, let's do that. I couldn't go in with a little bit of a, let's see, what color do I want? A little bit of a, let's say this is pink eggshell. And let's see what it looks like over here since the card is already done. I don't want to mess it up. And let's see if it works. It's all about trying stuff. Yeah, it kind of works. So I want to give him just a little bit of a color in his ear. I'm pressing pretty hard. There we go. A little bit of color in his ear. So again, it's a process of just trying stuff and see what works. Now we could go and put some bling on here. Not sure what I would put. Let's see. Let's try some of these. Because we've got some green and we've got some blue and even some pink. So what I like to do, especially when they get to where there's not very many on there, then you can kind of say, And I always try and do a triangle of colors, kind of like this one over here. Let's see. My pokey tool. And let's see. So here's a good rule of thumb. I like to cluster things around my image. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put a little bigger one here. And now I've got a line, so I need to make like a longer triangle. Doesn't have to be exact. And a good rule of thumb, if you don't know, take a picture and you'll kind of, it gets you farther away. It gives you that second to not be looking at it. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for watching. And then you can kind of tell where you need the last one to be. So I'm wondering if I should just do yellow on here. And we'll do that. Let's just do all yellow. And I like to kind of use up. Another thing you can do is stand up and look at it and say, where do we need this? See how it just kind of, oh, maybe we'll do it down there. And for some reason, it just kind of works that way. I don't know, it takes a little bit of time. Okay, so this one, let's add some different colors to this one. And I try not to do yellow on yellow, but it's big enough and it's halfway off, so it's okay. You know, there's always exceptions to the rule, all right? Okay, so we have green up here, so I don't really want to do green, but let's pull in maybe a little blue. Okay. And I want to try not to do it quite the same. So let's do, and I don't really think I want to pull in the pink, although they're soft colors, so you could get away with that. But I like to kind of use the other colors that we have. Let's see. What do I want? What do I want? Maybe a yellow one in here. And again, look at it. I'm doing the exact same thing I told you not to do. I'm going to gently, just barely set that one down there in case I want to move it. And how about a green one? Oh, let's, should I do a green one there instead? And then, no, I want a green over here. I want the same. And actually, I think I want a little one. And you could do this too. And just make a funky triangle. See, I know. It's driving you crazy, aren't I? Okay, kind of like that. We're going to pick this one back up. See, we just barely put it down, so it's okay. And let's see. Sorry, this is where I get kind of crazy about it. I just banged the light with my glasses. Maybe I'll use one of those. Oh, you could put a yellow one in there too. Okay, guys, where do you like it? Let's do here. Okay, it's down. It's done. Odd numbers always looks best. Triangle if you can do it. Putting them together, close together, far apart, long triangle, doesn't really matter. Just whatever you like. So there's the cards today. So try something new. Take a pattern and tweak it to the way you want to do it. Until next time, next Friday, I think maybe I'll bring you some journey paper and colors and inks, and we'll do something with the color of the year. Hope you liked it. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope to see you next Friday. If you want, you can like, subscribe, and share my video. I'd really appreciate it. I do have a YouTube channel that I will put this onto later. So if actually you would go there and like and share and subscribe, I'd love you even more. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.